Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about the thing that most people spend a significant portion of their lives looking for, and that tends to be found in the last place they look. Most people have a specific idea of what peace would feel like. A life in which the pressing problems have been resolved. The uncertainty that currently makes everything feel slightly unstable has cleared. The relationship is settled, the finances are arranged, the particular source of ongoing stress has finally found its resolution. Once all of that is sorted, the feeling goes, something can finally relax. There will be permission to rest. Peace will arrive as the reward for having navigated everything successfully. The difficulty with this arrangement is that life does not tend to deliver the conditions on which it is contingent. One problem resolves and another appears, not because life is unfair, but because that is simply the nature of a life being actively lived. One goal is reached, and the next one forms before the satisfaction from the first has properly settled. One chapter ends and another begins with its own set of unresolved questions. If peace depends on the problems being finished, peace will remain perpetually in the future, where it will always be, because there will always be something not yet finished. There is a story about a man who spent years searching for something rare and valuable. He crossed difficult terrain, followed every rumor, gave the search everything he had. One day, utterly exhausted, he sat beside a quiet lake and for the first time in years simply stopped. He was too tired to continue. The water settled in the stillness, and there, reflected in the still surface, he saw the thing he had been looking for, hanging around his own neck all along. The image is almost absurdly simple, and yet it describes something that happens with considerable regularity in human lives. The long search outward for something that was never located in the outward direction, and the eventual, often reluctant, turning inward. The Taoists described peace not as a destination to be reached, but as a quality of relationship, with life as it actually is, with uncertainty as a permanent feature rather than a temporary inconvenience, with the present moment rather than the wished-for future. This framing changes everything about how peace is approached. If it is a destination, then you are always either on the way to it or not yet there. If it is a relationship, then it is available right now, in whatever form the present moment offers, and the question is only whether you are willing to be in it. Think about the moments in your own life when you have felt genuinely peaceful. Not necessarily happy in an effervescent way, peaceful, settled, at ease with where you are. Most of those moments, when examined, share certain qualities. You are not in the middle of achieving something. You are not working towards something or resolving something or proving something. You are simply present by the ocean, in a quiet room, in a conversation that had nowhere it urgently needed to get to. Something that usually holds tension had briefly released. And in that releasing, something became available that the held tension had been preventing. The Buddhist diagnosis of why peace is so consistently elusive points toward resistance, specifically the sustained mental argument with reality as it actually is. The weather should be different, the person should be different, the situation should have unfolded otherwise. I should be further along than I am. Life should look more like what I need it to look like. This argument runs quietly underneath most people's daily experience, generating a low-grade friction between what is and what is required. And that friction is precisely what prevents the settling that peace requires. Peace does not begin when circumstances improve. It begins, at least potentially, when the argument softens, when the insistence that reality be other than it is releases its grip. even slightly, even briefly. There is a distinction worth drawing carefully here, because it is consistently misunderstood. The softening of the argument is not the same as resignation, not the defeated conclusion that nothing can be changed and nothing is worth attempting. Resignation says, "This is my situation and I am powerless." Acceptance says, "This is my actual starting point, and from here I can move genuinely." One closes the door to possibility, the other opens it. Genuine peace is not the absence of effort or ambition or the desire for things to improve. It is the quality of ground beneath those things, the capacity to engage fully with what your life requires without the particular exhaustion of also being in ongoing argument with the fact of its existence. A student asked his teacher, after years of searching, how to find peace. The teacher replied, "Who told you it was lost?" The student laughed first, then went quiet, because the question reached something. Not that the student had been experiencing peace and simply failing to notice it. The searching was real, the absence was real. But the question pointed toward something. The searching itself was part of what was maintaining the distance. The mind so occupied with looking for peace was simultaneously the mind that couldn't settle into it. The running and the arriving are not two separate activities with the arriving at the end. Sometimes the arriving requires the running to stop. Peace tends to be present in the small moments that the searching mind moves past too quickly to receive. The pause between thoughts. The breath that happens without being required to do anything. The morning before the day has fully claimed the attention. The particular quality of quiet that exists in some ordinary rooms at some ordinary hours. These moments are not extraordinary. They are not evidence that conditions have finally arranged themselves correctly. They are simply present, available in almost every day, offering something that does not require anything to change in order to be there. As we close today, I want to leave you with something simpler than a question. Take one breath right now, and at the end of it, in the brief space before the next breath begins, simply notice. Not what is wrong, not what needs to be resolved, not what comes next. Just the specific, unremarkable quality of this moment, the room around you, the fact of being here. The peace that does not require anything to be perfect in order to exist. It was always here. It is here now. It will be here whenever you stop running long enough to notice it. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time. Be well.